You were the twist, how Princess Leonor rewrote Spain's royal story. Nobody saw it coming. Not the monarchists who dreamed of tradition, not the Republicans who demanded abolition, and certainly not the world that expected just another European princess to fade into ceremonial irrelevance. But you, Princess Leonor of Spain, you were the twist that no one anticipated. In a story that seemed destined to follow centuries of royal predictability, you became the plot turn that changed everything. And your sister Sophia, she became the perfect co-conspirator in rewriting a narrative that was supposed to be written in stone. The twist began the moment you drew your first breath on Halloween night, 2005. Even your birth defied expectations, arriving on a day associated with masks and mystery, as if the universe was whispering that nothing about your story would be conventional. But we wouldn't understand the true magnitude of that twist for years to come. The unexpected beginning. Royal births are supposed to follow scripts written centuries ago. Cannon fire, formal announcements, predictable celebrations. Your arrival should have been just another line in the long chronicle of Spanish Bourbon history. Instead, it marked the beginning of the most significant transformation the Spanish crown had seen since the restoration of democracy. Your parents, King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia, were already breaking molds. He, a king who had witnessed his father's abdication amid scandal, and she, a former journalist who brought unprecedented media savvy to the palace. But you were their masterpiece of disruption, though none of us realized it at first. The first hint that you were different came during your earliest public appearances. Most royal children at formal events look overwhelmed, bored, or coached into robotic behavior. You looked calculating. Not in a cold way, but with the intense focus of someone already understanding that every moment was a lesson, every appearance a chance to learn the intricate dance of modern monarchy. When your sister Sophia arrived in 2007, the plot thickened. Two princesses, but not in the traditional sense of beautiful ornaments waiting for marriage proposals. You two became something unprecedented in Spanish royal history, a partnership of equals with complementary strengths, preparing to serve a country that increasingly questioned whether it needed a royal family at all. The twist that changed everything. The real twist wasn't that you would become Spain's first queen regnant in over a century. Constitutional changes had already established that possibility. The twist was how you chose to inhabit that destiny. Where previous royal heirs were groomed in isolation, you insisted on connection. Where tradition demanded distance from common people, you chose proximity. Where protocol required perfection, you embraced authenticity. Your education became the first major plot twist. Instead of exclusive private institutions filled with aristocratic children, you and Sophia attended Santa Maria de los Rosales, a good school, but decidedly not a royal bubble. You sat in classes with children of doctors, teachers, shop owners, and civil servants. You did homework at kitchen tables, not in palatial studies. You learned mathematics from the same textbooks used across Spain, not from custom curricula designed for future royals. This wasn't just progressive parenting, it was revolutionary strategy. Your parents understood something that most royal families miss. To serve people effectively, you must first understand them genuinely. Every friendship you formed, every group project you completed, every school play you participated in was teaching you lessons no royal tutor could provide. The twist deepened when you began speaking publicly. Your first major speech at age 13 during the Princess of Asturias Awards ceremony should have been a forgettable moment of childhood pageantry. Instead, it revealed someone who understood the weight of words and the power of authenticity. You didn't just recite prepared remarks, you delivered them with conviction that made grown politicians take notice. But the real shock came in how you handled the pressure. Most teenagers would crumble under such scrutiny. You thrived. Each public appearance revealed new layers of competence, confidence, and most surprisingly, genuine warmth. You weren't just playing a role, you were becoming yourself, and that self happened to be exactly what Spain needed. Sophia, the perfect plot device. Every great story needs the right supporting characters, and Sophia proved to be your perfect complement. While you carried the weight of succession, she brought lightness that kept you grounded. While you mastered the art of diplomatic restraint, she provided the spontaneous moments that made you both relatable. The twist with Sophia was that she never seemed resentful of her supporting role. Instead, she embraced it with enthusiasm that was genuine rather than dutiful. She became your closest advisor, your reality check, and your partner in navigating the impossible balance between royal duty and teenage normalcy. Their dynamic became clear during joint public appearances. You would focus intently on official protocols while Sophia would catch your eye with a small joke or observation, instantly relaxing your shoulders and bringing out your natural smile. She became your secret weapon against the rigid formality that had made previous generations of royals seem cold and distant. Sophia's interests in sports and arts provided perfect counterpoint to your focus on languages and international relations. Together, you represented a fuller picture of Spanish culture and values than either could alone. She wasn't just the spare to your heir, she was the heart to your head, the emotion to your logic, the reminder that being royal didn't mean abandoning humanity. The language twist. Perhaps no single element of your story demonstrates the unexpected nature of your approach like your relationship with language. Previous Spanish royals learned languages as diplomatic necessities. You collected them like tools for connection. Your fluency in Catalan wasn't just politically shrewd, though it certainly was that. It was a declaration that you understood Spain's complexity and embraced rather than merely tolerated its diversity. When you delivered your first major speech in Catalan, separatist regions that had long viewed the monarchy with suspicion suddenly had to reconsider their assumptions. Your English, perfected during your time at UWC Atlantic College in Wales, positioned you as a global figure rather than merely a national one. Your French connected you to European diplomatic traditions. But it was the way you used these languages, switching naturally between them during international events, making each audience feel heard in their own tongue, that revealed the true twist. You weren't just a polyglot princess, you were a master of connection who understood that language as the bridge between understanding and empathy. Every conversation in someone's native tongue was a small act of respect that accumulated into something revolutionary. The education revolution, the decision to send you to Wales for your final years of secondary education was perhaps the boldest twist yet. UWC Atlantic College, with its international student body and emphasis on service, was about as far from traditional royal education as possible. You lived in dormitories with teenagers from 90 countries, shared bathrooms, did your own laundry, and earned your place through merit rather than title. Your classmates described someone who was clearly special but never arrogant about it. You participated in beach cleanups, organized charity drives, and stayed up late studying with friends from Kenya, Korea, and Kazakhstan. You learned that leadership isn't about commanding from above but about inspiring from within. The twist wasn't just that you succeeded in this environment, it was that you blossomed. Away from the protective cocoon of Spanish royal protocol, you discovered strengths you might never have known you possessed. You learned to argue your positions in Model United Nations, to collaborate on group projects where royal status meant nothing, to navigate teenage social dynamics where authenticity mattered more than ancestry. When you returned to Spain for your 18th birthday and official coming-of-age ceremonies, the transformation was evident to everyone. You carried yourself with new confidence, spoke with broader perspective, and demonstrated understanding of global issues that impressed even skeptical observers. The military twist. Your entry into military service at the General Military Academy of Zaragoza represented another unexpected turn. While male heirs to European thrones routinely undergo military training, few female future monarchs have embraced it with your evident enthusiasm. The twist wasn't just your presence in uniform, it was your approach to the training. You didn't request special treatment or exemptions based on your gender or status. You completed the same physical challenges, endured the same rigorous schedule, and earned the same respect from instructors and fellow cadets that anyone else would. Your decision to fully embrace military life sent powerful messages. To traditionalists, it demonstrated respect for the armed forces you would someday command. To progressives, it showed commitment to equality and shared sacrifice. To everyone, it proved that you took your future responsibilities seriously enough to prepare for them thoroughly. The image of you in military fatigues, sweating through exercises alongside young Spaniards from every background, became symbolic of your entire approach to royal duty. You weren't above the people you would serve, you were among them, learning alongside them, preparing with them for whatever challenges Spain might face. The technology twist. While older generations of royals struggled to adapt to social media and digital communication, you grew up as a digital native who understood these tools intuitively. But the twist wasn't your comfort with technology, it was your restraint in using it. Unlike many of your generation, you didn't overshare or seek constant validation through likes and followers. Instead, you used digital platforms strategically, sharing carefully curated glimpses of your preparation for royal duties while maintaining appropriate privacy. You understood that social media could be a powerful tool for connection, but also a dangerous weapon if misused. Your generation expected transparency from public figures, but also respected those who maintained dignity while providing it. You found that balance instinctively, sharing enough to remain relatable while preserving enough mystery to maintain royal mystique. When you did communicate through official channels, your messages carried weight precisely because they were rare. Each statement felt considered rather than reactive, substantial rather than superficial. You mastered the art of saying much with few words, making every public communication count. The sister bond twist. Perhaps the most unexpected element of your story has been the genuine affection and partnership between you and Sophia. Royal siblings historically competed, conspired, or simply coexisted. You two chose collaboration. Sophia's decision to support your destiny rather than resent it freed both of you to become yourselves authentically. She could pursue her interests in sports and arts without feeling overshadowed, while you could embrace your role as future queen without fearing sibling rivalry. Your joint appearances became masterclasses in complementary leadership. You provided gravitas and diplomatic skill while Sophia brought warmth and accessibility. Together, you represented different facets of Spanish identity, the serious and the joyful, the traditional and the modern, the formal and the fun. The twist was that this partnership made both of you stronger rather than either weaker. Sophia's presence allowed you to relax and show more personality, while your example inspired her to take her own supporting role more seriously. You became proof that royal families could function as genuine families rather than just institutional arrangements. The cultural renaissance twist. Under your emerging influence, Spanish royal events began changing character. Traditional ceremonies retained their dignity but gained accessibility. Cultural celebrations became more inclusive. Official patronages expanded beyond establishment institutions to include innovative organizations addressing contemporary challenges. You didn't abandon Spanish royal tradition, you renovated it. Ancient protocols remained but felt less dusty. Formal events maintained their grandeur but welcomed broader participation. The monarchy's cultural role expanded from preserving the past to inspiring the future. Your approach to supporting Spanish culture revealed another twist. Rather than simply lending your name to established institutions, you sought out emerging artists, innovative programs, and grassroots organizations making real differences in Spanish communities. You understood that cultural patronage should nurture growth, not just celebrate achievement. The democratic twist. Perhaps the most significant twist of all has been your understanding that modern monarchy must earn its legitimacy rather than assume it. You consistently speak of royal duty as service rather than privilege, of monarchy as an institution that must prove its value rather than demand respect. This approach acknowledges the republican sentiments that exist in parts of Spanish society without legitimizing them. Instead, you seem determined to make monarchy so effective and beloved that abolition becomes unthinkable rather than inevitable. Your public statements consistently emphasize democratic values, constitutional principles, and service to all Spaniards regardless of their political views. You speak of Spain's future rather than its past, of unity through diversity rather than conformity, of leadership through example rather than command. The global stage twist. As you approach full adulthood and eventual reign, the international community watches with fascination. European royalty needed revitalization, and you're providing it. Other young royals study your approach, trying to understand how you've maintained relevance while respecting tradition. Your multilingual abilities and cosmopolitan education position you perfectly for diplomatic leadership. But the twist is that you use these advantages to serve Spanish interests rather than to escape Spanish identity. You're globally minded but nationally rooted, internationally connected but distinctly Spanish. World leaders who meet you describe someone who listens carefully, asks intelligent questions, and demonstrates genuine interest in solving problems rather than just discussing them. You're preparing not just to reign but to lead, not just to represent, but to serve. The continuing twist. The story isn't finished, of course. You're still becoming who you'll ultimately be. But the trajectory is clear. you were indeed the twist that Spanish monarchy needed, the unexpected element that transformed a tired script into a compelling narrative of renewal and hope. You took a role that could have been purely ceremonial and made it substantive. You inherited traditions that could have been burdens and made them foundations for innovation. You received attention that could have been corrupting and used it as a platform for service. Most importantly, you and Sophia proved that royal siblings could be genuine partners rather than competitors, that royal children could be both privileged and grounded, that future monarchs could be both respectful of tradition and agents of change. You were the twist Spain didn't know it needed, the princess who refused to be just a princess, who chose substance over style, service over celebrity, partnership over isolation. In a story that seemed destined for predictable endings, you became the plot turn that made everything possible again. And the best part, the story is still being written, with each choice you make, each speech you deliver, each hand you shake continuing to twist the narrative in directions nobody could have anticipated. You were the twist, and you're still twisting, still surprising, still proving that even the oldest stories can find new chapters when the right character steps into the spotlight. The girl who was born on Halloween night continues to unmask expectations and reveal possibilities. In Spain, complex, contradictory, challenging Spain has never looked more ready for the future you're preparing to lead.